I'm going to broach this subject just because I feel like I grew up in this era. When I raced locally around St. Louis, well, first of all, I never raced around St. Louis. I was with my dad, my brother Rusty, Kenny Schrader, and ladies never were allowed in the pit area because that was a man's world, and it was thought of as too rough. The ladies are goddesses. Let's keep them out of harm's way. And I feel like here's where the Kenny conversation comes in. I remember your father more so, and I don't want you to answer for him, but I kind of remember you on this bandwagon too.
Yeah.
Ladies in the pit area back in the day, the Petty Enterprises wasn't, you guys didn't like the ladies in the garage, in the pit area.
No, it had never been. And I think that's, it just never happened. You know what I mean? Listen, I remember, and this is a true story. I remember being in Riverside, California.
Yeah.
When Dick Brooks had a sponsor that had a female, this is back in late 70s, maybe early 80s, had a female VP, and she couldn't get in the garage area to see a car that her company was spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on.
Hold on, let me back up. NASCAR did not allow ladies.
NASCAR didn't let women in the garage area. That's exactly right. Yeah, so NASCAR did not allow women in the garage area. And again, here is a corporation who is sponsoring a car in a NASCAR series, in the elite NASCAR series, and the woman who is in charge of the finances for that company can't get in the garage area to see the car because they don't allow women in the car. And that's the way the sport was. That's just the way the sport was. And I'm going to say something. So my dad did an interview. I'm going to throw this out here. My dad did an interview.
This ought to be good.
Yeah, my dad did an interview, and he was asked that. He said, "What do you think about ladies in racing?"
Yeah.
And my dad's answer was, "There are no ladies in racing." And the reporter that asked it said, rattled off 5 or 6. And he said, "Oh, you mean women in racing? My mother's a lady. My mother-in-law is a lady, and my wife is a lady. And a lady would never drive a race car. A woman might, but a lady would never drive it." So it depends on the phrasing in the South on which way you want to go. You know what I mean? And that's the way he looked at it. And, I think his opinion has changed, but the technology's changed. The cars have changed. Everything has changed.
Life.
Remember, Rusty's a big old boy, man. Rusty's tall. Y'all are big old guys, and you look at it, and now you look around the garage area and
little jockeys.
Yeah, these guys, we grew up with manual steering. You know what I mean? We grew up with so many different things that it's just different. It's not better. It's not worse. It's not easier. It's not harder. That's not what I'm saying. It's just different. And the world changed along with it. And that's why, we went at Petty Enterprises when in the early 2000s, we had a couple of female engineers that were the smartest engineers we had. They were incredible. And they looked at the sport totally different because they looked at it strictly engineering. And it was so refreshing to sit down with Margaret and a couple of them and just go through the data. And she would pick things out that I would take for granted. And that's good. And she's like, "No, that's bad. And this is why it's bad." And you get to thinking, it's like, oh my gosh, I understand. Alba,
Alba Chevrolet back in the day.
Chevrolet, man.
She was wonderful to me.
Incredible woman, and an incredible pioneer in the sport for that part of it. And I had an opportunity to talk to Janet Guthrie, and what she went through, I can't imagine what she went through. That was tough for her. We talk so much about what Bubba goes through, or what Bill Lester or other people have gone through in the sport. What she went through at a time in the 70s was horrific. So, but the world changes and the whole sport changes, and it changes for the better in a lot of ways.
But let me say this, from my viewpoint, I always, like, to me, the ladies, like when I would talk to my wife about this, Kim, she would say, "Kenny, I'm a girl. I don't want to be in the dirty old garage area. It's dangerous." So from my viewpoint, Kyle, we didn't say ladies shouldn't be in the garage from being mean. It was like, "Hey, you ladies are dainty. You're the love of our life. We don't want you in this dirty, nasty, scary area."
Yeah, it was just a different way. Listen, it was a different way of looking at it. We grew up at a different time. And that doesn't make it right or wrong. That's not an excuse one way or the other. It's just different. Listen, I can't go back and fix my childhood. I can't go back and fix how I was raised, and I don't want to. So I'm going to keep some of those values, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to move forward from where we're at now. That's all. That's all any of us can do, whether on anything like that. The way I look at it.
Yeah, moving forward now. So you are when I say this, I mean capital letters. You are a free spirit. Free spirit means your hair's in a ponytail.
Yep.
Leonard Skinner, you're from the South. However, you're going to go to New York to get your hair cut. 30 years ago, the media followed you there. You're going to grab a guitar.
Yeah.
Like you did 1 week ago to an unbelievably sold out concert. So is the free spirit, and I see the Wood Brother kids are a little bit like that from being in the mountains of Virginia. It does shock me that you all are like this. The Wood Brother kids, this free spirit, does it come from your mama?
A little bit. I think it does.
Or are you rebellious?
Yeah, more from her. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think this is what she taught me. Okay. I think this is what she taught me. And this is what you learn. I think you learn this racing. Okay. So what's that number again? I ran how many races? 800 and what?
829 NASCAR starts with 8 NASCAR Cup wins.
829, and I lost 821. Okay.
Oh, stop it.
No. Yeah, but hold on. Yeah, but here's my point. I lost 821 times, which means that I failed to reach my objective 821 times, because that's the way you look at it. My dad won 200 races, but he lost 915 or something.
Good point.
So when you look at it like that.
Yeah, good point.
So the point is, I think the way I was raised and growing up that way is I was not afraid to lose, and I'm not afraid to fail. I'm more afraid not to try. I just want to go try things. And that's where that free spirit and that rebellion comes from. If somebody says, let's go ride a bull, I'm like, let's go do it, man. Somebody says, let's go jump out of a plane. And because I don't want to get to be 96 years old and in an assisted living home and hear everybody else's stories. I want to hear when I'm at the nursing home and somebody says, anybody ever ride a bull? I'm going to raise my cane in the air and shake it. And then
you will lead the group.
Yeah. Anybody ever fly around the world? I'm going to raise my hand, just whatever it may be.
Yeah,
now,
I love it.
I was only on that bull for like 0.9 seconds, man. It wasn't like I rode the bull. I just sat on the bull and he threw me off. But at least I sat on the thing. You know what I mean? So that's my point. I think that's the way I was raised, not only from my mom, but just the atmosphere you're raised in. You're going to lose. You're going to get beat. But that doesn't mean you don't
embrace it.
You got to go try. You got to go try, and you got to give it everything you can while you're trying, and then pick yourself up off the ground and go do it again. And that's what my granddad did, and that's what my dad did, and that's what I do.